Hello from Gracia. This is the Rorschach, Georgia update from the 3rd of April, 2025. Quick summary of what's going down in Georgia. Thursday, the 27th U.S. Foreign Relations Committee approved a bipartisan bill called the Megabody Act, which will take effect if passed by Congress. The act requires the U.S. President Donald Trump to impose sanctions on Georgian government officials, their supporters, and family members who have obstructed democratic processes and Euro-Atlantic integration. Also calls for the U.S. to reconsider military and financial aid to Georgia if the government does not realign with its pro-Western commitments. Also, the State Department must investigate Russian and Chinese influence in the country. On the other hand, Georgia's government returns to the Euro-Atlantic path, including amending the Foreign Influence Agents Law. The U.S. will strengthen bilateral cooperations and provide Georgia the means to defend itself from Russia and other hostile entities. Next up on Friday, the 28th, Elena Chostaria, one of the leaders of Coalition for Change, Kvarami Amelia Girchi Droa, or Tavisuplebistuis, was detained along with two other activists near Parliament. Police are saying that she was detained for minor hooliganism and failure to obey police orders. Eye roll. Chostaria said that the police mistreated her, that she was injured and was forcibly stripped at the police station, calling it a violation of her dignity. She was denied a lawyer while arrested, but was soon released without an explanation. Her mistreatment was condemned both inside and outside the country by all major opposition parties and internationally by EU political groups and U.S. Congressman Joe Wilson. Georgian public defender said that his organization will investigate the case as full-body strip searches, especially ones without legal justification or a violation of human rights. Speaking of opposition figures being detained, prosecution has started a case against Mamuka Khazaradze, leader of Strong Georgia Coalition, or Zlieri Lelo, for refusing to attend questioning of the Parliament's Temporary Investigative Committee, which has been set up to investigate any illegal activities by the United National Movement, or Natsebi, during the 2004-2012 period when they were in power. Prosecutors say that Khazaradze received a summons to testify in front of the commission several days prior and was warned that refusing to do so would result in legal consequences. He publicly refused to participate in the investigation as he does not recognize the legitimacy of the Georgian Dream or of Kotsevi Parliament. If found guilty, he could face either fines or up to a year in prison, including a 3-year ban on holding public office. On that note about the investigative committee, Salome Zurabashvili announced the creation of the Resistance Platform, which will unite and coordinate all current and future pro-European parties in the fight against the current regime. She stated that anyone is welcome to join, provided they agree on 3 key points: the release of all political prisoners, the scheduling of new parliamentary elections, and adherence to the Georgian Charter, which calls for the formation of a temporary technical government if the opposition wins parliamentary elections. She also declared that no member of a party within the platform will comply with summonses from the Temporary Investigation Committee. Opposition politicians are not the only ones facing prosecution by the ruling party. On Saturday, the 28th, Vladimir Ambalia, resident of Poti in western Georgia, posted that friends of the city's mayor attacked him because of critical content on social media. Ambalia says that the attack happened during the day when he was alone at his car wash, which is just 100 meters or 300 feet from the police station. 3 out of 5 people who participated in the attack have already been identified in camera footage. Ambalia says that most of them are childhood friends of the mayor. Police started an investigation, but the city municipality has yet to make any comment on the attack. On Wednesday, the 2nd, families of political prisoners who were arrested during the pro-European demonstrations made a joint statement. They announced the creation of a new civic movement called Freedom for Conscience Prisoners. They planned a gathering for the 8th of April, saying that they would spend the whole night in front of the April 9th memorial, which honors 23 people who were killed when the Soviet regime used force against protesters demanding Georgia's independence. Sound familiar? In their statement, they called on political parties, the Georgian church, students, and Georgia's international partners to do everything they can to free the prisoners, push for new elections, and boycott the municipal elections in October. They warned that if their demands are not met, they will escalate protests by blocking government buildings and shutting down highways. Seems the Kotsebi have been trying to gain Trump's favor by emulating his style and policies, is all we can think of. Hilariously, this collection of Keystone cops has decided to create its own Department of Government Efficiency, which in the U.S. is led by Elon Musk. This department will oversee the implementation of executive decisions across various sectors. The government plans to create real-time audit to assess ongoing projects. The stated goal is to ensure the effective use of budget funds and strengthen transparency along with accountability of governance. Talking about U.S.-Georgia relations, members of the U.S. Helsinki Commission criticized the Kotsevi's decision to give the Anaklia port building contract to a Chinese consortium. This deepwater port will boost Georgia's transit capabilities, making it a strategic asset. They warned that the Chinese company leading the project could expand China's influence in the Black Sea and harm Georgia's future. They accused China's communications construction company of using infrastructure projects to exploit and destabilize host countries, which they indeed do. Commission urged the Kotsevi to reconsider, arguing that China's growing presence alongside Russia threatens regional security and Georgia's democracy. They also noted that the U.S. previously sanctioned the company for building a military outpost in the South China Sea. This is, of course, all part of Putin and Xi Jinping's plan to make Georgia into a transshipment point for sanctions avoidance, convenient for the two of them, and will also serve to keep Georgia a corrupt colony in the long term. Also, U.S. President Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Georgia as part of a broader move to apply additional tariffs to over 180 countries. These tariffs affect products imported into the U.S. The tariffs are the most cinemagraphically idiotic step taken by a U.S. president since Nixon appeared on Laugh-In. They have been met with international contempt. From January to February this year, Georgia's exports to the U.S. totaled $8.5 million, an increase of about $2 million compared to the same period next year. The top exporters include pipes, aircraft parts, and natural wines. In 2024, Georgia's total exports to the U.S. reached $141 million, up from $97 million in 2023. Forbes' updated billionaire ranking shows Bidzina Ivanishvili's net worth has dropped to $2.7 billion in 2025. Boo-hoo. A loss of $2.2 billion compared to 2024. Despite this significant decrease, he still ranks among 1,500 richest in the world. Bloomberg's list, however, presents a more favorable picture for the poor guy. According to their data for this year, Ivanishvili's net worth is $7.5 billion, placing him comfortably within the top 500 richest people globally. More numbers. The National Statistics Office published on Monday the 28th that the trend of declining birth rates has continued in 2024. Last year saw a bit over 39,000 new babies born, marking an almost 2% decrease from the previous year. The rate's been steadily dropping since 2016 when it peaked with 56,000 newborns. Most babies were born in Tbilisi, while the regions of Racha Lechkhumi and Lower Svaneti in western Georgia had the lowest results. Number of mothers under 25 has fallen. Those over 40 have increased. Almost 3% increase in death rates compared to 2024. Last year saw a natural population decline in the country of about 4,000 people. Fewer marriages were registered, and the average age for the first marriage has increased. Finally, on Friday the 28th, the police arrested an individual in Tbilisi who ran an online scheme to scam people out of money for tickets to a Sting concert that is not happening. British musicians popular in Georgia, and with more and more big foreign acts like Guns N' Roses visiting the country, a Facebook ad leading to a legitimate-looking website didn't raise concerns for lots of people. Dozens. Prosecutor's office states the victim suffered significant financial loss, and the perpetrators could face 5 to 7 years in prison. And that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe. Don't worry, it's free. You'll help us grow and continue bringing you these updates. Tune in to your favorite podcast platform. Nachmandis.